just like that, we are down to 4 teams. It is finals time in Suncorp Super Netball, and the best part about that is it is wide open. Hello and welcome. Great to have your company on the first of our finals editions of the Weekly Pivot, and it's all thanks to Blooms the Chemist, your first call pharmacy professionals. Sharni Layton, we're down to the business end of the season.
Aren't we? And Jack, I must say, last week we started off with you complimenting my hair. I must say today, you've really put in a good effort.
What a stitch up.
I know, I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Well, I just want to warn you, next week I've got something on you.
Oh, what?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Oh, gosh, all right.
This is called...
I'm not looking forward to it.
This is called fighting fire with fire. Hey, you must love this time of year. Finals time, it's exciting. We had bonus points all the way through.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
Isn't it so good? And you know what? Like, I didn't really miss playing too much this year, but when it gets to finals time, I loved it so much because there is no feeling like winning a premiership. And when you know that you are in the grasp of having that in your hands, when you've worked so hard towards something over a whole year, especially with the World Cup break in between, it's been a tough year for so many. And then to have games like we did on the weekend, this is just next level in Super Netball this year.
Thanks to Collingwood, let's have a look at the final ladder and how it all finished up, because going into this last game, Collingwood needed to not only win, but they needed to rack up bonus points as well, and that's what they did, and they knocked the Giants out of the finals in the process.
And could we believe it? And look at that. It's not even 1% that they managed to get on top of the Giants of. And look, I really wanted Magpies to win, being an old Magpies girl myself, but I didn't actually think that they were going to do it. So, you know, the Giants would still be in massive shock, but unfortunately for them, they just didn't play enough of a good game for 4 quarters. And that's the bonus system. The bonus point system now. You know, they won the game by 10, but that was in 1 quarter. They would have been better off winning each quarter by 1 and only winning by 4. So it's all this tactical stuff that's going back and forth. But, you know, congratulations to the Magpies. That's off its head.
How's you with your maths on the bonus points? It's like having Pythagoras sitting here. It's incredible.
Considering I only just passed year 12, it actually is.
Team updates for this week are all important. Bit of a different look, though, at the team update, Sharni. You've just gone a different direction with it this week. I
did go a different direction because the teams themselves aren't going to change. However, what's changed most over the last couple of weeks is the fact that Rob Wright has been out. Unfortunately, his mother passed away, which is really sad. But what I've loved seeing is Kate Upton, who's to your left, and Nicole Richardson to your right, the assistant coaches for the Collingwood Magpies, have been able to step up into their role as a coach. And that is a huge role, especially if you haven't been a head coach of a strong team before. Nicole Richardson and Kate both being head coaches of state league teams, but not of a super netball club. So they've done a phenomenal job of stepping up, and they have great rapport with the girls. They actually took over when Rob Wright was in the UK for 3 weeks over the World Cup. So congratulations to them, and they will look like taking over for the rest of the final series as well. It's been an amazing season for Collingwood. Ups and downs, highs and lows with injuries and absence like that. So for them to be where they are is extraordinary. So the fact that they are now into the finals, as we have a look at our schedule for week 1 of the finals, and it's all thanks to Blooms the Chemist, your first call pharmacy professionals. It's the Vixens and the Magpies on Sunday, but we start with the Lightning and the Swifts in the major semi-final. And look, it's going to be a tough final. And, you know, the one thing that you do want to do as a team is you want to win that final between Lightning and Swifts so you can go straight through to the grand final and have that extra week to be able to focus on yourself. At this stage, I would imagine that the Lightning are going to win, especially because they're playing at home. But the Swifts have their best record against the Lightning. And then obviously Magpies and Vixens the following day. And the Vixens are going to have to do a lot to get on top of the Magpies. I think they've got the blueprint there. They saw how the Magpies were able to beat them on the weekend. So if anything, they can go back and analyse it. But if the Magpies are playing well, who knows if they can actually get on top of them? Well, they can. And I guess you've only got to go back to last week and look at the way that they played. Brilliant performance. Just got to go back out and do it again. Exactly right. And it was that easy, hey? That easy, I know. And that's the thing, especially with the bonus points, you had to play that every quarter. And that finals intensity goes up so much in comparison to just an every round game. So make sure you got the eyes on your Pies. Lightning and Swifts, how important's home court advantage? Particularly for the Lightning, if they can win and they can lock in that final on the sunny coast. Yeah, it's absolutely huge. I know for me, when I was with the Adelaide Thunderbirds in my earlier years, we had the 2 home finals in 2010 and 2013. And it's just massive to have that advantage in comparison to when I played with the Swifts and was in 2 grand finals against Firebirds on their home turf. And then they were able to get on top because you've got the crowd behind you. And honestly, I know it's a bit cliche, but the crowd is that 8th player out on court. When they've got that energy behind you, it's so hard to get up and over that team. So if the Sunshine Coast Lightning goes straight through, I tell you what, they're going to be a tough team to beat and they could make it a three-peat.
Well, it's theirs. It's theirs if they want to grab it. They can lock away that home final again. Let's find out what's trending this week. And it does have a little bit of a Sunshine Coast Lightning feel to it this week, Shans.
Exactly right. And so for me, what I'm loving is coaches that surround themselves with other great coaches. So we know that Noelene Taurua stood down a few weeks ago now, and her assistant coach Kylee Byrne has stepped up into that head coach role. But just have a look at the relationship that these two have had over the last 3 years.
Right from the start, it was very much, a joint effort that we bounced off ideas. We quite often would speak and go round and round and round in circles and then come up with this crazy idea, but we both knew it would work.
She's very tactical, and that's what I always knew right from the start. She's very creative. I'm really just in the box. She's really creative. And she's good with people, relationships, really good in building relationships. As the years have gone on, I've been able to see her come through and make those decisions. So really exciting to be able to see what that looks like moving forward.
Isn't that fantastic?
I know.
Just a great working relationship.
A great working relationship, but Noelene not afraid to have someone beside her that is also has the calibre of a head coach and can throw different opinions at her and all the rest of it. And I think that's what great coaches do. A little bit controversial, but coming out of the World Cup with the Diamonds and the assistant coaches, great people. I've had them been in a team with one of them and been coached by another one before as well. But just not the experience of a super netball team or an international coach. And so it's going to be interesting moving forward whether or not Lisa Alexander will actually surround herself with more strength around her coaching side or not. But I think there needs to be a little bit of a change in the Diamonds.
If you were to use an example, you look at the USA basketball team that are out here at the moment. Greg Popovich is the coach and he's a 5-time champion. His assistant coach is Steve Kerr, who coaches the mighty Golden State Warriors. So not worried about egos and not worried about losing your job or anything like that. It's just working together to get the best result.
Yeah, absolutely, which is what everyone wants at the end of the day.
It's what we all want. It's what we all want.
Yes.
We love that here on the Weekly Pivot. It's all thanks to Blooms the Chemist, your first call pharmacy professionals. Let's keep moving and let's have a look at the match of the round. We've got 2 to choose from. Shans, where are you dropping your pin this week?
Oh, no, well, I flipped the coin and I'm going with the Vixens and the Magpies purely because it's the elimination final. And the Magpies beating the Vixens twice this year, which they hadn't done before this year at all. They had an absolute ripper, and so I want to see how the Vixens are going to fight back. The Magpies got on top of Kate Maloney and Liz Watson, the Vixens centre court duo. So to see whether they can bounce back this week to push forward in the final series, and it's at the State Netball Hockey Centre. Which
now is this a factor?
Oh, I think it is, because at the end of the day, it only holds 3,000. The Melbourne Arena and Margaret Court were already booked down. And so having that home crowd, as I said before, behind them, I think it could mix it up a little bit. So it's going to be an unreal game to watch.
You know what those 2 venues were booked out for, don't you?
Yeah, isn't it esports or something?
Are you an esports? Are you a gamer?
I'm not a gamer. I'm a gamer in like cards and Monopoly. I was born in 1988. I don't get it. Don't get it. Are you a gamer?
No, I'm born in 85. What would I know?
My God.
I'm pretty sure they didn't book out Margaret Court Arena for a Monopoly contest, Shans, by the way.
Well, who knows? Those games go all night. It's booked out from Friday to Sunday. That's why I thought it was Monopoly.
Long games of Monopoly in the Layton family. Let's go to In Focus for this week as well as we start to look a little bit deeper into these games. Who are you having a good look at?
So in Focus this week, we are going for the Collingwood Magpies. Ash Brazill.
Yes.
And I know we've chatted about them a lot in this, but, the form that they have come from to be able to make finals when they weren't crushed hot at the start of the year is huge. And Brazill has been such a huge part of that. And the last 3 weeks, do you know she had never been an MVP in her decade of playing netball, and she's just got MVP 3 weeks in a row.
I did not know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so look at the feeds that she's got, 22, 35, 31. As a wing defence is unbelievable to come into the centre and be able to have that. She's still got a strong defensive game with her intercepts and her gains there. And so her I guess, passion that she's been able to take into centre and be able to push that into the front end of the court. She just provides an outlet to the wing attack that they haven't had previously, because usually the shooters the get out of jail free card, but at the moment Ash is. So she's having a phenomenal season, but has just finished it off so well. So it will also be interesting to see whether she can gain diamond selection at the end, which has always been a topical issue for her. But either way, can she take the Magpies the whole way?
Never been an MVP.
Never!
It's extraordinary.
I know, but she did play for West Coast Fever for a long period of time and they weren't that successful.
And hello to all our Fever fans who are joining us.
I love you guys, but it's tough. It's tough in the West.
Final say, with thanks to Blooms the Chemist. It's been a big addition as we lead into finals. The final say is yours.
The final say is mine, and my final say today is that Lightning are going to go the whole way. I think that they're just going to reward their coach, Noelene, for everything that she has done for the club over the last 3 years. They're tactically smart. They know how and when to mix it up at the exact timing. Their players don't get pushed too much under pressure, and I honestly believe that they can do a three-peat. So that's my final say today.
Which would be amazing, and a great final say too, but be amazing considering all the change they've had to their playing list in the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible, and that is also what we've talked about so much with their coaching and the fact that they can do that with all of the player personnel changes. And also being stuck up in the Sunshine Coast.
Stuck up in the Sunshine Coast.
Mind you, that's
We're
where
going to do
I'd
a grand
rather be.
final show from the Sunshine Coast.
Yes! Can we?
Yes.
If they're in, we're there. We might need to put some sunscreen on.
I think so. It's all thanks to Blooms the Chemist, your first call pharmacy professionals. Enjoy week 1 of Suncorp Super Netball Finals. We're back next week.